Well, as soon as I'm on the floor with
Oh.
her, she's like, me.
Time for me. Hi, hello, here we are. I don't know if anyone is here yet. I don't think so. Probably not. I don't know how many people will even join because I don't do live streams very often on my channel. It is what it is. But yeah, we are here today to talk about Legends of the First Empire, part of my year-long Elon, World of Elon read along, Michael J. Sullivan books. And I've got two folks here to help chat about it. We have all read the series at least once prior or multiple times. But I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves if you want to. Maybe say how many times you have read it and maybe like your channel, stuff like that. So go ahead, Roger.
Hi, I'm Roger from Rogers Reads, and I've read the entire series minus the Royce and Hadrian prequel novels once each. So this is like my first time rereading anything in the series.
Nice.
Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Josiah. I'm from the Ryer Explained channel. I have read Legends a lot.
I was going to say
times.
probably like a dozen or so.
Oh yeah, somewhere around the Age of Death and Age of Empire. I love the lore, so I've read those a lot.
Yeah, and I have read the first 3 books. Now I can't remember. Excuse me, cat. Jeez, just like smushed her. Yeah, the first 3 books I've read 4 times, and then the last 3 books I've read 3 times. Because the first time around I just reread the first 3 to like continue on, and then I just didn't do that again. But no, get off of that. So yeah, definitely not as well versed as you are, but a little bit. I mean, your whole
I'm the
channel is
newbie
all-
compared to you guys.
Yeah, you are. Absolutely. Oh, hello, Esme. How are ya? Thanks. So I figured we could start kind of a very like generic question, I guess, but you can also yap about it forever or not. Overview, whatever you want to say, of why do you enjoy this series? I'm sure there's a variety of reasons. For me, the biggest thing I would say that I enjoy about this whole world, but this particular series in particular of the world, is the lore. Like you were saying, Josiah, I just love some cool lore coming back and history of the world, and I love a Gods Among Us trope, and that's definitely present here. So I eat it up. I feel like that's my favorite thing probably. But I like a lot of other stuff too. But how about you, Roger?
I think I love it because I grew up reading like classic questy fantasy, and it kind of fits the bill plot structure wise of like more classic things like Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance and that kind of thing. But it has a little bit more of the modern fantasy thing of having a little bit more nuanced characters and having some time where you actually spend developing the characters rather than kind of just going on like your kind of one-off questies. And then I also am a big fan of Gods Among Us. And after reading the entire series, I do also think that it's quite unique that this series really shows you how history is written by the victor and how things can really be twisted from the events that really happened versus how things are kind of presented to you in more modern context in the later series.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. How about you, Josiah?
Yeah, and I think I already mentioned it, but I love the lore. I love the whole god structure, what's going on in the big picture. I think Trylos is my favorite character in all the Elan books. Just so mysterious.
Is very, I was gonna say very mysterious, very fascinating. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and BT dubs, folks, spoilers for Legends of the First Empire series. We're gonna definitely talk about spoilers of the series. Yeah, he is very, very fascinating. And you probably, I mean, not probably, you definitely know more or have more in your memory with all the lore with everything. I remember I think it was the second time I read it. So my first reread, I sat down and I was like taking notes of like the god family tree and like wait and like trying to like figure everything out. And it was like so much fun to be able to like have all that to like dive into.
Yeah, the first time I finished it, I immediately went online and I was like, okay, let me go to the wiki because I need like a diagram of who the gods are. and the wiki didn't have that. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I went to YouTube to find the YouTube channels on this. And I realized, oh, there's literally no YouTube channels. And I was like, I was unemployed at the time. And I was like, all right, I'll make a channel. And that's literally the reason my channel exists.
Oh, that's awesome. You're like, I will take the responsibility. That's so awesome. That's fun. I love that. Love that. How about favorite book in the series? And also, since we all have reread it at least once, has it changed at any point for you? I'll let you go ahead and start this one, Josiah, if you'd like.
Yeah. It's between Age of Death and Age of Empire. Just the lore dumps that you get in that book are just so big. So probably Age of Empire, just for the scene where Brynn is in the Sacred Grove and she's just learning everything.
Yeah. All the info.
Yeah. But I will say I do really like Age of Swords, just from a reading perspective. I love the story on that one. I love the description of the dwarf when they go into Neath, and it's very Lord of the Ring-ish.
Yeah, it is.
So I also like that one.
How about you, Roger?
I thought my first read was probably Age of Death, just because I do really kind of like the whole spelunking in the underworld and finding out we got so much more information about the gods and like their connections to each other and like what's really happening in the bigger picture in Age of Death. So I think on first read was that one. On second read, I think I actually really liked Age of Swords, just because of like this year especially, I've just been really into the like Tomb Raider vibes of going into some ancient city ruins and spelunking in caverns and finding out forgotten bits of history. So Age of Swords, especially in the back half, like it has that in spades. And so I think this time I had the most fun reading Age of Swords.
That's so interesting. Age of Swords was my like least favorite for sure the first time I read it. And now I don't think it I mean, it might be like on the lower end of the faves, but all of them are like, 3.75, 4 stars or above or whatever. So like all of them I really enjoy.
Was that just due to the trauma of Age of Swords?
No, it was actually the first time I was like the traveling around. I was like, I don't love this like traipsing about. Like it was like a little too much of that for me for some reason. I don't know what it was, but then that's the thing. I still really enjoyed it because of the story being told, and there's definitely emotional trauma, hardcore in that one, like intensive. But I feel like, the first time it was definitely Age of Death for me as well. And I feel like it's kind of now a tie between Age of Death and Age of War, actually. I don't know. There's like a lot that happens in that one that is just like a fun, entertaining time, but also more emotional trauma. But there's a lot of that throughout the series in general. And I feel like too, because we get like little glimpses before then of like, the truth behind things, and like Malcolm, like starting to figure out who the frick Malcolm is. But then it's like coming out even more. And I'm obsessed with Malcolm, with Turin Oberlin. Like I find him so fascinating. So I don't know. Yeah, this time around, I just had a really good time with Age of War. But I still do love Age of Death as well for all the lore information we get and more emotional trauma. He like never stops with the emotional trauma of it all. But that's why we like it. How about least favorite in the series, if we even like really have one? I feel like for me, Age of Legend. I think it seems like it is for a lot of people with like the time jumps and whatnot. So it like makes sense. And that was kind of for me too. Like the time jumps a little bit, and like there's just a fair amount of it that feels like less is happening than in other books, I guess. There's still stuff happening though. But maybe that one. Also, freaking, oh my God, I'm literally just blanking out on his name. Tesh really drove me nuts this time. And like the end of Age of Legend, I was just like, bro, I'm gonna fight you. He just drove me crazy. He's a well-written character, I guess, because I felt something, but probably that one, I think. How about you, Roger?
I was gonna say the same thing. I think it feels like the least complete thought on its own. It's very much like a transition book of getting you from like the
Yeah.
high drama of Age of War into the fact that we have this mission that we now need to go on to try to save Suri, and getting further enmeshed in the gods' politics. And then it just especially Age of Legend and Age of Death are the ones that he was the most egregious with his cliffhanger endings for sure. And
Yeah.
so like Age of Legend, you're kind of traipsing about, you think you're gonna start doing something, and then it just ends, and you're like, okay, cool, I guess I get resolved. Like nothing resolved whatsoever.
Yeah, you just have to get right into the next one.
Yeah. Not, I guess I'll add on Age of Legends. I know the first time I read it, I completely missed that there was a several year jump right in the middle of the book. Like I missed that. And then yeah, it doesn't have like the big battles like Age of Swords or
Yeah.
Age of War has, and it doesn't have the cool pyre stuff that Age of Death and Age of Empire has. It's definitely a setup book.
Yeah. Yeah, it very much feels that way. And I know originally it was just going to be the trilogy, which I'm always like so fascinated by that, because I'm like, how would you have ended it here? Like there was so much more to tell. Like I just wonder how different it would have looked if he did just do it as a trilogy, like what he would have maybe changed or whatever. But yeah, Age of Legend, I think I see I like even like the Discord and people chatting, and like when people comment on my videos and stuff, it seems like that one is the least fave overall, which makes sense if it's feeling more like a transitional one for everyone. So, all right, how about favorite character? If we can pick, Roger, can you pick?
Suri and Minna. I can't have one without the other. They have to be a unit.
Yeah, they do. The wisest wolf. Makes me cry every time, I swear to God.
And I think
that's
she's my favorite mainly just because of the journey that she goes on. Because like I think Persephone is already pretty competent by the time we meet her the first time. And like that's not to say that she doesn't go on a journey, especially more with like letting herself love again with how she feels about Wraith and some complexities there. But I think Suri is the one that we see the most, where she goes from like kind of naive little child and kind of thrust into this crazy position of power with how psychotically powerful she actually is. And then kind of coming into her own and becoming the butterfly that Aryan always knew she would be.
Yeah. How about second favorite then?
Second favorite, maybe Malcolm, just because I think he's really interesting, and I like trying to figure out more about what's going on with him and his relationships, and like why was he such a psychotic jerk face for so long that he like annihilated his family relationships, and how he's trying to improve now. I think he's a very compelling kind of background figure.
Yeah, he definitely is. How about you, Josiah? A couple faves.
Yeah, so I already mentioned Trylos. I love Trylos just because in this series, I mean, technically he's kind of the big bad villain.
Yeah,
like, he's behind everything, but also in the end, I'm like, what did he actually do that was wrong? Like,
yeah,
he's kind of the victim of the whole story as well. So we have that. Lore wise, I also really like Beatrice. I think even with all the books out now there's a lot we don't know. Like Beatrice has some powers that even Turin doesn't, Malcolm doesn't have. And so I think there's a lot we still have to learn about Beatrice in the future series coming up.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that. So excited. When I've read Rhaeria initially, it was after I had already read Legends. And then I was like, this is where it ends? I was like, I need more. I'm so excited for that. Cool. Any other like fave characters though that you want to mention?
Ooh. I actually I like the Glantians and Tesh. Not that I think they're all great people, but I think they're so interesting.
They're fun. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are fun. Yeah, I think with Tesh, that type of character is never, Roger knows, the like hell bent on vengeance, and vengeance is all I can think about. It's just never my favorite type of character, because I'm like, it does not compute in my brain. I'd be like, that sounds like a lot. I'm over it. Like, I give up. I don't have the determination for this. And just the hate and the anger and hanging on to that like anger. I'm just like, I couldn't be me.
For so long.
Yeah.
Years and years and years and years and years. Yeah.
Like he's not justified in wanting his vengeance for sure. Yeah, I feel like I feel like it's hard to pick like favorite, but I think Suri and Minna just I don't know, that's so many of the like emotional gut punches throughout the series stem from Suri in general and Minna. But Malcolm, I love Malcolm. Um for similar reasons, like that he's just so fascinating. I've realized that I really love like an eternal being of whatever kind it might be, usually like an eternal, immortal, godlike being meddling in human affairs for whatever reason in various like books. I just love it. And so I love watching him like moving pieces on the board, but like subtly and like without like making it clear to everyone, and like learning more about the reason why, and his whole like redemption arc is just so fascinating to me. And I do always love Persephone. I just like her. I don't know. I think she's an easily likable character, at least in my opinion. I'm sure there are some people that don't like her out there. I just enjoy her. But like you said, yeah, she is very like competent already when we meet her. I feel like I feel her frustration a lot with like people just being idiots. And she's like, come on.
Especially Raid in the early books. He's like, just leave with me. And she's like, bro.
Yeah. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't do that. Get out of here. And then she doesn't really want to lead, but she's like, all right, everybody's stupid. I guess I have to, because y'all are going to die without someone telling you what we need to do here. Like, this is ridiculous. And I feel like her story is honestly kind of sad to me. Like, everything she has to do and like the sacrifices she has to make. And then also, I just knowing the future, like how she is remembered or not in history, and like it makes me so sad. I'm like, they don't even know like everything she did. Oh, they've like erased her. It makes me so upset for her, but she's great. What about least favorite characters? I mean, I feel like the Mondelez is probably, I assume, everyone's least. He sucks so bad. He's such a good villain, because my god, I hate that kid so much. But what about like other side characters, like maybe that you like but just like they're on the lower end of the totem pole for you? Obviously Tesh, I said, for me, but that's just the nature of the type of character he is. I feel like Tressa is actually one that is also higher up on my like favorites, like in the totem pole, I guess, of or the hierarchy of all the like the cast of characters. I really like her. She's another one that I feel bad for, because she gets a bad rap just because she's like very abrasive and intense, but she actually like has the heart of gold.
I think on my first read, I hated Tressa so much. On this most recent read, one thing I realized is in Age of Empire, when she's down in the abyss, she finally has like that talk that the person she hates is herself for what she did. And I'm like, she's probably the closest to Turin, because it's not someone else she hates. It's herself for what she's done.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she has like so much guilt and regret, I feel like, weighing her down, metaphorically and literally, in the abyss. I don't know, like all the other side characters, I'm trying to think, like Brynn and Roan. I feel like maybe Roan is kind of farther down on my hierarchy, on my tier list.
I was going to say her just because she's the source of a lot of like the corniest moments for me, where she just happens to make every invention that could ever be needed and every technological advancement is all from her. So it's kind of like she's like the source of the most like, okay, yeah, of
she's
course,
like the source of civilization is
from one person.
I do like when she invents something. There's one point where she invents something and then the dwarves are there and they're like, wait, this is a new thing for you? Like, we've had this for thousands of years. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're very unimpressed. They're like,
called an axle on a wheel.
Yeah. Like, there's a name for it, actually.
We'll show you how to make wagons, you losers.
Pretty much. So would you say Roan is yours, Roger? Or is there
probably. Else? I mean, I don't dislike her as a character. I just think that she gets kind of de facto worst for me, just because she's the source of so many of like the eye-rolling moments.
Yeah, that's fair. How about you, Josiah? Do you have any that are like lower on the tier list?
Probably Moya. Like, I know a lot of people like Moya because she is kind of a badass, but it just bugs me that like she doesn't think she is. She's very self-deprecating.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I like her, but she's also kind of a character who a lot of times I feel kind of similarly to how I feel about Roan. Like, I like her. She's cool. She does stuff, but also sometimes she's just like there, I guess, in the grander scheme of things. You know what I mean? Like Bryn, Suri, Persephone, like various other characters, like have more of like an impact on the world and the story. They do too. They have an impact, like for sure still. But yeah, I can see that. And yeah, kind of the another type of character that I don't love is it's usually always women who are like so beautiful, but they don't know it. And that's what makes them beautiful is they don't have any idea how beautiful they are. I'm like, if you're like a stone cold stunner, like making people like stop in their tracks to watch you walk by, even if you might still have insecurities, you know that other people think you're a stone cold stunner. Like being so like, what? Me? No. Like,
it just makes you think of that One Direction song every single time. You don't know you're beautiful.
Oh, yeah. It makes me think of a 90s country song that says, she don't know she's beautiful. And I'm just like, shut up, you know you are. Or like, yeah, you know you're a badass. Like, come on. Yeah, it's like it gets a little tedious, I guess, for me. Like the overly self-deprecating thing. Anybody else lower on the totem pole? Or no? Or on the tier list, I guess, if we were tier ranking. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's someone I'm forgetting, which would put them lower on the tier list, I guess, if I'm totally forgetting about a character.
I'm trying to remember her name. I don't like the girl that like Mondelez's all into.
Oh, Macarena.
Macarena.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I like her. Well, I don't want to say anything for other series. But yeah, I feel like in this one, yeah, she's kind of just there. I like the way I hate Mondelez. It like I hate. There's like some lines that like I have like a visceral reaction of like, oh my god, I want to like rip your tongue out. I hate you so much.
Well, he's like the douchey nepo baby.
Yeah, he's so such a good villain because he's like so easy to just loathe. At least for me, I just cannot stand him. Like I don't find anything about him redeeming, really, like ever. I'm just like you suck all the way around. I cannot stand you. And I don't find him like he's a good villain because I just hate him so much. But I don't find him like super fascinating or like compelling, I guess.
But you also know people like him. You've met people like him in your life.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Yeah, that does not help. I'm like, oh no. How about
watch Josiah being like, I relate to Mondelez so much.
Over here being such a jerk. I think he's meant to be very, very easily unlikable. How about favorite moments? If we can pick just maybe not a favorite moment, because I think that might be too hard to pick, unless you have one. Share that. But just like a handful of favorite moments from the series that you just really, I guess, that like stick with you. I think obviously like towards the end of Age of Swords, you know, when they're in the agave or whatever. Is it called the agave or agave? I say agave in my head because of knowing tequila. The word agave. What?
Is it tequila?
Yeah, tequila. But yeah, when they're there and like having to kill Minna and everything, like it's obviously just like such a freaking gut punch. And the first time I read it, I like fully cried. Like, because then he does the thing that I always talk about. Like, he has the scene that is like heart wrenching and you're like, oh my God. And then he just like peppers it in like a chapter later, like with just a quick line, or like with Arion and Suri as well. Like, sure, or are you sure? Pretty sure. Like every time he'll say it, I'm like, I need to go cry. Like it's reminding me of this. But yeah, I think that, and then I agree too in the when Bryn is learning everything when she's in the place. That's like an epic epic moment. And Gifford's run every time also gets me so emotional. Like, I just can't. And like when he comes back and then he gets to touch Roan and he's like so excited because she lets him touch him because she hates physical touch. Like, it just gets me every time. I think also just any of the reveals with Malcolm of like who he really is, and the freaking feathers. Oh my God. I can't, but that's more of a like for the whole world thing. Like all the other ones too, like that tie-in every time. I'm like, the feather. That was like the only thing that made me really emotional when I read Rhaeria Revelations, I think, was the mention of the feather that got me. How about you, Roger?
I think maybe when Suri and Minna are reunited towards the end of Age of Empire. Because, I mean, a lot of the quote-unquote favorite moments are just, like, more impactful moments because, obviously, a lot of the times there's just pure devastation happening and, like, depressing things. So it's hard for me to say it's a favorite just because it emotionally impacted me. So, yeah, I think maybe Suri and Minna being reunited. And I usually hate the, like, almost pseudo-fake-out death, but the way that he did it and tied it into the bigger lore where it didn't just feel... I mean, it still felt kind of earned for them coming back together, and it wasn't just, like, she did this for nothing. Because I think on my first read, I was like close to feeling that way, but on my reread, I didn't at all feel that way where it felt. Because the first time I was like, okay, well then why did you do that to me in Age of Swords? The second time I was like, okay, fine.
Okay, makes sense. That's fair. How about you, Josiah?
Yeah, I think I like all the battle scenes in Age of Death in Nifril. I love those, you know, where it's like there's going to be a battle and then you get some legendary people coming and then it just keeps one-upping every time, like more mythical historical figures.
Yeah, that is fun.
I also really like in that one battle in Nifril, I think it's Phenelaeus is like using the art and everything, and then Grindel comes up and you're like, oh no, the other side has a really powerful artist, and then Phenelaeus does like one thing and just wipes him off, and you're like, okay, never mind, these two people are not equals.
This is not an even match whatsoever. Yeah, those are fun. Well, and I'm just always so fascinated when they're there, because I'm just like, just the like inanity of like just the repetition of they're just doing this over and over again all day. They're just battling it out all the time for eternity. Like, it's like kind of absurd, but then it makes for these like, yeah, really epic battles for sure. Any others that stick out?
I kind of like the moment in Age of Empire when Mr. Dragon pins, what's his name? He's being really rude to Persephone and they start fighting, and then the dragon gets involved and just pins him down and is like basically about to eat his face off because he was really starting to irritate me this time.
Yeah. He was the worst. What about least favorite moments? You kind of touched on
Roger. The stupid inventions.
Yeah, I was going to say anytime there's inventions. That's a good one. That is a good one. I'm trying to think of like least favorite moments. I mean, Mondelez in general. Just scenes with him. I can't stand him. I'm trying to think of a specific scene with him though, in particular, but I can't think of.
I got one with him where Treya does the big reveal that she's his mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is gonna hurt him so bad. And then he's like, no, that can't be, and just denies it. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah. God, he sucks. He sucks. He sucks so good. He's so bad that it's like good. He's a very easy character to hate. Yeah. He's just delusional. He's living in his own little fantasy land, his own little reality where he's the best dude to ever exist. You're like, bro, no. So like bigoted and so prejudiced that it's like painful, just painfully stupid. My God. But yeah, he does make for a good villain. I'm trying to think of like other least favorite moments.
I mean, I have mine with when Roan interacts with her abuser in the Abyss.
Oh,
and there's that whole nonsense where Michael J. Sullivan really doubles down on you have to literally face to face give absolution to somebody who abused you in order to lift yourself out of quote unquote hatred or whatever is keeping you down. And I just think that that's kind of archaic, like cis het messaging that like doesn't feel like it came from somebody who was in any kind of abusive situation. Because like, yes, you need to let go of things and maybe not harbor them in your soul.
Forgive.
But I hate the message that you have to give absolution to the face and make your abuser feel better about themselves for you to be released from it. I'm like, they don't.
Yeah, I don't love that either. Yeah, I don't love that messaging either. It's like, I get, like, it's a common thing. It's common messaging, I think, just in our society of like, in order to heal, you must forgive and move on. But I'm like, there's a way of like forgiving and like to let go of the hatred, but without, like you said, like patting your abuser on the back and being like
giving them a hug and kissing him on the cheek.
Yeah, like it's okay that you did this to me. Like, you don't have to do all that in order to like let go and heal fully. You can heal fully without like patting them and sympathizing with them. And like, I understand.
I understand where you can. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. It wasn't your fault. I also did bad things in my life. Like, shut up.
Yeah, I agree. I don't love that either. But like I said, it's very common messaging, I think, like societally. So it's not like I'm surprised to see it.
I mean, it was just so underlined for me this time because my dad passed away last year. And so like, I think when that was happening, everybody around me was like, oh, you need to speak to him. You need to make sure you have those last conversations. You're going to regret it if you don't. And I'm like,
no, I'm good. I'm not.
So then I think on this reread, having that happen fairly recently, I mean, it was like a year ago, but it was like having that in a book form. I was like, oh, for shit's sake, absolutely not.
brought all that fresh stuff back. Yeah, very understandable. Very, very understandable. Yeah, I feel like generally also, I don't know, I think some stuff with Tressa, they're not like my least favorite moments in that, like, I think they're bad or dumb moments, but like where I just like feel so bad for her sometimes. Like people being so freaking mean to her and just like so callous toward her, where it just makes me like sad inside, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like watching someone get bullied. It doesn't necessarily give me that same feeling because she's not exactly someone to like behave as if she's going to fight back. And it's like, well, screw you too, you stupid son of a bee. But I don't know, it just makes my like heart hurt. Where I'm like, oh, you guys are being such jerks. Like Moya in particular, like the way Moya is toward Tressa. I'm like, all right, relax. You kind of suck. And I think on reread, like I felt it more this time. Yeah. Anything you have, Josiah, or no?
Some of the same stuff. Like you're saying, Moya does that. Padera did that a lot.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There'd be a scene where Bryn was finally starting to be like nice to Tress, and you're like, yeah. And then Padera walks in, and it's just like, it's all over.
Well, and like with Gifford too, and like, oh, it's for your own good. Like, I mean, I don't think we needed to bash and bully the crippled kid his whole life to like make him tough. Like, geez, maybe we didn't have to do that. I don't know. Yeah, very harsh way of like treating people. Yeah, makes me bummed. Anything else you guys like to chat about with the series? Just other stuff you love, other things about it overall that you just really enjoy? I just always like the cast of characters. Like I said, this time rereading for my, third or fourth time reading it, and like in a very mentally distracted mindset this whole year of just, the state of things. Just gestures broadly to the world. These rereads where I'm like, I think subconsciously my brain was just like, we're so familiar with the story, like let's not focus intensely. It just definitely gave me a little bit of a different reading experience where I wasn't like engaged with it as much, but I just always just like love the characters. I enjoy like going on this journey with them. It feels like hanging out with friends that I know and like rehearing their story. And I don't know. And I love seeing all the threads come together of like the different pieces of lore we're getting like fed to us throughout, and then having it all come together and be like, what? Oh my God. Like, it's a fun time to me overall, I guess. Anything to add for you guys though?
Yeah, I think for me, one thing is really interesting is just how the series came to be. Like you mentioned originally, it was supposed to be a trilogy,
Yeah.
and when Sullivan first started writing, it was going to be about the Galantians. The Galantians were the main characters and the heroes. So how
So
crazy
interesting.
that really flipped, like the
Yeah, that's so
storyline.
interesting.
Yeah, and then I think
Amazing.
like then how it grew to 4 books and then 5 and then 6,
Yeah.
like we said, Age of Legends seems like a setup book, which makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense with how it ended up being written out.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
It
And then
is
I think
very
the last thing for me was when I was first reading the series, when Age of Death started and they went into like the afterlife, I was really worried because I've read other series where the storyline has gone into the afterlife and it creates so many plot holes whenever you do that. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, this is going to be bad. But I think this is might be the only series where I thought it went into the afterlife and I don't see any plot holes because of it. So I thought that was well done.
Yeah. I thought it was really fascinating how he did that too. And just the whole adventure they went on there and the different people they saw and like just the way he like created the underworld and like the afterlife. Like, I don't know, the world building there is like like how people can look how they want to look. Like, wasn't it was it Padera or it was someone whose like husband looked different or like they can look however they want to look or however they see themselves the best or whatever. And then the whole thing with the weighing down and how like you're heavier versus like Bryn was just like sprinting around because she's just this like innocent, naive, like lighthearted person that doesn't have all this like trauma on top of her, and how he did all of that. Like, it's very fascinating. I think that's why Age of Death like remains in the top of my tier list for the series. And the stakes are really high still too. Like, he doesn't totally pull punches, you know. Not everybody gets out safely and gets out together.
I like how you mentioned how people see people differently. And my dream is to have a Elon video game. I would think that would be the coolest.
Oh, that would be
But
so
then
cool.
I was talking to someone, I was like, wait, if they see him differently, everyone's hitboxes would be different. Like that would be a nightmare to try to make that video game.
Yeah, that would be very difficult. That'd be so cool though. I'm not a video gamer, but it would be a cool thing to have to exist in the world for
You could
sure.
just watch the cutscenes because
Yeah,
a lot of times people will
exactly.
make the videos on YouTube where it's just like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cutscenes
yeah.
placed together.
Mhm.
Yep. Oops, jeez.
Because even though I do play games, there's some games where it's like that the gameplay, like I don't like first person shooters, so I'll never play them. But sometimes there's stories for like Death Stranding or something that I'm curious about, so I'll just go and watch the YouTube video.
Check the story out.
The game. Yeah. Or there's some games like I think Alex's favorite series is Xenosaga, but number 2 sucks to play. So we will always just go find that like movie version and just watch it on YouTube and just skip that one.
Get the story. I had an ex who played video games back with like God of War, the original one, and like Drake's Uncharted and one of the Assassin's Creeds. I don't know. And I wouldn't play, but I would sit and watch just for like the story of it. You're like, this is a good story. Yeah, this would be cool. Do you guys think that this would make like a good like a TV or movie adaptation? I've like been asked that before, and I'm like, I think of those two options, TV for sure. I think I would prefer, but then I don't know because it could be really cool, epic like movies, depending. But there's like so much
really
to
effectively done because I also
Yeah.
don't think. I mean, there are moments of high magic and stuff, but the world itself isn't crazy fantastical,
Yeah.
like in the look. So I think that you could have a really, I mean, it could be kind of like Game of Thrones-esque, right? Where you have like the crazy intense scenes that are very expensive to make, but on the whole, the normal day-to-day bits are kind of like more normal looking. So I think it could be,
Yeah.
I think one would be a good adaptation because you wouldn't necessarily always been like looking at it and being like, oh God, this CGI is awful because they wouldn't need it for some.
Yeah. That's true.
I've long thought Rare Revelations would be the best like adaptation for a fantasy series. Like you could edit that really well. I don't know what I think Legends would be a lot harder too.
That's what, yeah, that's what
like Revelations.
I know as much, yeah. But I think that would also be more like universally like
I mean, it's more episodic in nature. It's more kind of like about the dynamics between Royce and Hadrian. So if you got a really good duo that had really good on-screen chemistry, they could kind of carry the whole show. Like, I
Yeah.
don't disagree that it would
I
be
think it'd be
more
more
easily adapted.
mainstream,
I would
like
just be less excited about
yeah,
it.
me too. Me too. I'm like, I like you guys, you're cool, but like I don't care. I think that's just the nature of like having like Legends be the first one I read. Did you read? You said you read Legends first, also, right, Josiah, or no? Did you read
Yes, I
Raya?
started with Legends. Yep.
Yeah. I always tell people I think chronological like story timeline order is the best order. Like I know some people think publication, but I'm like, I disagree.
Yeah, I just don't agree because I don't think that the end of Revelations is as impactful if you don't have all the
If,
context.
yeah, if
from
that's your first
Legend.
thing, like I think if I had read, I would have been like, I mean, okay, like versus like I said, the ending is like what impacted me emotionally because I had read everything else before, and so I was like, oh my god, like it definitely doesn't mean the same thing if you haven't read Legends, and now The Rise and the Fall too. But yeah, I'm excited to. It'll be my first time rereading the Rise and Fall series. I've only read through that once. You have
Although
two,
every time I
right?
see it on your shelves, I'm always like, oh yeah, Ezra Haddon is a chunky ass.
Yeah, she's thick. She is thick. Have you read it multiple times, Josiah?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Didn't it come out fairly recently? Do you read anything?
It takes a long time. It takes a long time.
Just Rhaenyra on repeat.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, the problem now is that now, like Ezra Hot and I read the beta, but stuff changed. So I like I think one time I put something in a video and people were like, that didn't happen. And I was like, wait, what? Go back. It was just in the beta. It got cut from the final cut.
That sucks.
Oops.
I've never gone and read like all of the, like, I don't know. I know that some of the books, I think maybe some of them that I have, there's like extra scenes and I didn't read those, or like cut scenes. I know on the website you can see like cut scenes.
And it was an extra short story, right? The pile of bones,
yeah, even like
it is.
I have not read any of the like short stories or anything, so I need to go and like do all of that. I still haven't read through all of Rhaenyra Chronicles. I need to get to Disappearance of Winter's Daughter and Drumendor now.
Well, I only know about Pile of Bones because it was in, I think it was maybe an Age of Death at the very end, in like the author's note at the end, or in his wife's note at the end. They mention like email us, and so I did. I emailed them and I got the ebook for it.
Sign me up. Yeah, I need to read all of those.
It was originally some Kickstarter exclusive extra or something from some.
Yeah, I'm excited to reread that though. But yeah, Ezra Haddon is a little daunting because
I'm just hoping that I like Fairlane more this time because I remember her irritating me the first.
Yeah, you didn't like. Yeah, you had a problem with her. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like Ezra Haddon, but I think also going into it on reread without like saying too much about the book. Of course, I don't want to spoil anything for that because that's not what we're here for. But he, as a character, irritated the ever-loving crap out of me in the beginning.
Yeah.
When he was so immature and like Roger and I we buddy read that, right? Did we buddy read or did we just read it near each? Yeah. And we were both like, oh my God, this kid, like, I can't stand you. Like, so entitled, dude, bro, like entitled to women's attentions and like being a creep. And I hated it. But there's character growth without spoiling stuff. So I think going into it on reread, I imagine he'll annoy me less because I'll have in my head that I know that there's character growth. You know what I mean? So I'll be less like, is this going to be this guy, this whole freaking book? Oh, I was the first time. I was like, I need to mentally prepare if this is going to be the whole book, but 'twas not. So I think I'll have a better time on reread with that for sure. But anyway, we're not here to talk about The Rise and the Fall. I didn't have anything else. Like, if you guys have any other topics or questions or anything else to add, I didn't really have any other like questions or anything.
No, I mean, it's just a solid series that I mostly enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's just super solid. I'm so happy that it seems like most people who have joined for like the read along are enjoying. Like, if it's their first read, they're like, oh my God, yay. And I always get so excited when I see people comment like, because of you, I read Legends of the First Empire and it's one of my favorite series now. I'm like, frick yes. Makes me so excited. Because I feel like it's like weirdly like underhyped, but maybe I'm just like not looking at the right channels or something. But I'm like, I don't see that many people talking about it.
People that read Revelations love Royce and Hadrian and then go back to Legends expecting that vibe, and it's not that vibe. It's much more epic. And for whatever reason, that turns them off. because they
Yeah.
liked the more contained, smaller in scope.
Yeah. In which we had the opposite.
They're just wrong. I mean, they just don't know how to read. So.
Sorry, you didn't read it right. Stupid. Yeah, it is just solid overall. And I need to now go through and watch a bunch of your videos that I was holding off on watching, Josiah, of like all the Easter eggs and all the different things for the different books. I was waiting to finish this reread to go through. So yeah, if you like these,
did you find any
books,
new Easter eggs that you didn't notice when you read them previously? Do you find something new every time, or is it just reaffirming your red yarn room or whatever you have that keeps
yeah.
No, I definitely find new stuff. So I'm mainly an audio listener. I listen to the audiobook mainly, and I listen while I'm doing other stuff. So I miss so much. I have almost called no big reveals ahead of time because I don't read closely. So I definitely find new stuff every time.
That's so fun. Now, question, just because I saw everyone talking about it, and I know Roger, I don't know if you listened to all of them, but you tried. How do you feel about the graphic audio?
So I listened to the graphic audio for the first time last month because my wife loves the graphic audio. And it's definitely different. As someone who does the lore stuff, like I feel like I can't listen to it because it's abridged. So they cut stuff out.
Oh,
I mean, they cut out any of the connective tissue. They cut out any of the like descriptors of how things are said. They just expect the voice actors to do it. So any of those extra qualifiers are all kind of gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
It
know
is
that.
entertaining though. I do like it. It's like listening to a radio show. Almost.
I've just seen so many people being like, oh my God, I can't do the graphic audio. I haven't listened to it, so I have no idea.
They just are very extreme with the accents. And I feel like there's times when Legends leans a little on the corny side for me already. And so having the kind of over the top, like Scottish or whatever crazy accents they put on a lot of the characters just tips it a little bit too far for me. Where I'm like, okay, simmer down, Merida, or whatever your name's going to be. Like, stop it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people having like not a fun time with the graphic audio.
Well, plus you can't speed it up as much because there's a lot of music and sound effects, and so it starts to sound real crazy. And so
if it's sped up, oh, that makes sense.
So you have to go slower. And then you also, like, I do like to do tandem reading or immersion reading, whatever, with audiobook and physical at the same time. And you definitely cannot do it because there's so many words that are skipped out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, hello. Just reread it.
But if you're doing pure audio, I don't think it's bad. I mean, the crazy accents are just too far.
You're not a fan of that.
And the little, like, ching, ching, ching sounds in the background when they're, like, sword fighting and stuff. Sometimes I'm like, okay. You're not whole scenes where sometimes I feel like the audio balancing isn't perfect. So sometimes like the sound of like a river will be going for a really long time and it's almost too loud for me to clearly hear some of the dialogue. So sometimes I don't love the like actual audio mixing.
So interesting. I'm just not a big audio listener.
It is better than A Court of Silver Flames because I also listen to that on graphic audio and having like basically smut and graphic audio.
Not the move.
Because I mean, she's famous for having her protagonist growl, and the voice actors try to make that in their.
I remember you telling me about that, and I was like dying. I can't. Oh my God.
So it's better than that.
So funny. That's so funny. Yeah, I feel like I would just crack up. Be like, what is this? The growling. Oh, good thing there's none of that. Oh yeah, never listened to the graphic audio. Yeah, I need to start Nolan soon because it's halfway through July already, and I have not picked it up, so got to do that. But if you guys don't have anything else, I can let you go. As I figured, I told Roger, I was like, probably be like 45 minutes to an hour because I don't have that much to say personally.
Well, plus some of the Easter eggs are hard to talk about until we can talk about other series.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm trying to even
so
like
Josiah's hands are kind of tied for him to give us whatever we're missing because he can't spoil the rest of
Well, that's like all the Easter egg videos. It's like, by the way, I'm also going to spoil these other 15 books in the series.
I know. Yeah, some of them that you have I started watching, but then you mentioned that there's stuff from like Rayuri Chronicles, which part of me is like I don't care too much because I've read the rest of the whole world, and there's probably nothing like crazy spoilery, but like I do want to have the first time reading experience of like not knowing going into things because like disappearance or not sorry, Death of Dulgath, had I known certain things going into that would have been a much different like reading experience. And I'm glad I didn't know because I was like, wait, what? So yeah, I'll have to go back, watch all of them once I finish that. I don't know when that'll be though. Probably not until next year. Even though there's only 2 books, but because of doing this read along, I'm probably not going to get to those till later. So
I was gonna say in a year's time we're gonna have like 2 more Alon
yeah.
books. Like they just
Do you
keep putting them
know?
out.
You probably do know. I don't remember if he said it in the announcement for it. Is the new series going to be a trilogy?
Well, so there's
Or
2 new series.
oh, okay. I
So
don't think I
there's
knew
the
that.
Cycle, which is the
Yeah.
one he's writing right now. That
Yeah.
theoretically is going to be 5 books long.
Okay. Cool.
So we'll see
I
if
like the
that one gets
theoretical
bigger.
caveat.
Yeah,
And-
theoretically, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And then there's After the Fall, which another author is writing. I don't know if you've heard about
Oh,
that one.
no.
So he
What?
mentors,
Or I missed it.
yeah, he mentors authors. And there's one
Yeah.
author that he was mentoring that he was just blown away by how good this author was. And so he got her, she is now writing a trilogy called After the Fall that takes place directly
Oh.
after Ezra Hodden.
Oh, cool. That's fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'll be interested to see how that goes. That's really cool though.
Yeah. A lot of people are nervous since it's a different author, but
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
I mean, if he's like trusting this other author, then I mean,
I'm
yeah.
sure he's
Well,
also very deeply involved in at least
yeah.
some form of the outline of what.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's like, here's the story. For the most part, that'll be very interesting. Yeah, I did not know about that. That's cool though. Curious to see. But cool. All right. Well, thank you guys, and thanks for everyone who joined or who watches later, not live. Appreciate your time and appreciate you watching. And I'm sure I don't know if you guys will both want to join later, but I'm sure I'll do another live stream after the rise and fall. So we'll see you in a few months.
Sweet. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.